There's a technology term that you should be familiar with. It's called CRM. It's a business term. It's not really a music term. It stands for Customer Relationship Management. There's whole businesses and stuff like that. Get into that. Customers for you are your fans, and get into a relationship management program with your fans. So get their email addresses, get their cell phone numbers, maybe trade them, like one free download, one free ringtone, or one free full track in exchange for their email address or for their cell phone number, and begin a regular dialogue with them. And build that number bigger and bigger and bigger. Audience aggregation, get it as large as you can, because that's part of your story also. It allows you to go direct to consumer with some of your selling, and it also allows you to give a better story to a digital distributor about your fan base, because otherwise it's not measurable. And Facebook fans, we don't trust that. We don't really trust that. It's too easy to fan. It's too easy to click the button. But if you actually have their email and you can do repeat marketing to those people through a cell phone number or something like that, we love that. It's a basis from which to build.
What he's saying is access is not sales. And you can tweet that. Access is not sales. Just because you're there doesn't mean you can sell it. What are the other things that how are you going to do fan relationship management? How are you going to build your fan base and access that fan base and motivate them to actually make purchases? That's the part where almost every artist screws up.
I'd like to add something. Tommy and others explained how there is no pay for placement, right, in digital, but there is a way. And wow. And we see it all the time. So anyway, the way that there's two ways this is done. The first way this is done is that there's some kind of a feature or promotion or marketing that is done, some kind of a special event. When there's a large event that's done, whether it's a festival or something like that, you can often get marketing on the deck for the festival. So if a band or a group of bands are a part of a giant festival and there's some kind of a major event, then oftentimes the carrier or the store owner wants to be associated with that event because it draws large numbers of people to it, and therefore there's a bit of an exchange that occurs, and sometimes there can be banner ads on the storefront. So you can buy your way in by effectively investing in a marketing event. The other thing you should know is that the entire mobile industry is embracing something called mobile marketing, which means that you are now able to purchase banner ads and text ads all over the place. So on Apple, on iTunes right now, I can buy a banner click impression when somebody clicks for 6 cents. So I posit to you that if you're smart enough to think about where your fans are going to be congregating, you could place a banner ad near that, and you're 6 cents away from them directly clicking on a song or on an album or on a category or something like that. But you can buy those types of banner ads directly on the carrier's deck. So while you've got the content programming, which you can't pay for, right above it is a banner ad that you paid for, and you're suddenly on the very top of that page. And there are many companies that have done this. So marketing is not out of the question.
So you don't actually pay for placement. I just want to clarify for the audience. You don't actually pay for placement. You pay to put up a poster in their store, and they decide whether they want to do that.
That's correct.
It's not. There's no quid pro quo in saying, wait, I'm going to buy this ad, so you're going to program it. It's more or less you're creating your own demand by buying a feature set in their little window.
The bigger the company, the more the wink wink. Absolutely, we see it all the time. And I'm not just talking about music either. I'm talking about everything else that we work with in games and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely. If there's a big enough marketing campaign, then there's a wink. But they never do that at the sacrifice of quality. It's like that toothpaste example you gave. The toothpaste in Rite Aid store, all of it's good toothpaste, or it wouldn't even be in the store. So, which one they decide to promote doesn't hurt Rite Aid's reputation. It's not like they take a crap toothpaste just because somebody pays. You see what I mean?
Right.
So, the qualifier to even get in there in the first place is you have to have quality content. But then there's a little bit of room to maneuver where that stuff is placed. I've never met a store owner yet that's completely willing to just sacrifice quality for cash. I've never seen that. It's too early in our industry still.
I'm going to ask you guys to rant for a couple seconds about what you think that artists need to do to get their product either distributed or placed properly. Starting with Konny at the end and coming down to that.
All right, well, I'm at risk of repeating myself. I'm going to say audience aggregation first to get the numbers up. You heard a couple of times where we have questions like how many Facebook fans, how many tweets, how many retweets, anything measurable at all that you can garner to make a story. Shows, show dates, audiences and shows, number of people signed up to emails, anything you can do to measure. So I would do everything you can to measure, which means you have to get your shit in a pile in terms of your data. So back to that thing again. So you can't run your label out of a shoebox. You just cannot do that anymore. This is a digital, high-tech business. Lots of storefronts coming, and so that's the other problem too, by the way. There's so many storefronts that you could wind up, if it isn't really efficient for you to communicate with a storefront, it really take a lot of time and money to place your digital content within a storefront, and you have like 15 sales at the end of the quarter. You're gonna die, okay? So it's actually, you're better off not doing it. In fact, that's another fallacy in this business. Like the more storefronts, the better. If 100 of them is good, 300 of them is better. Let's do 800 of them. Come on, damn it, let's do 1,000. I'm in 1,000 stores. Oh, well, come on. It's a digital store. You're in a database somewhere. You're in a database row. Okay, if somebody actually queries your exact name, you might come up, and I'm sure it'll work, but that's just not the way it is. You have to think a little bit more carefully about where you put your time and resources.
Yeah, you guys had a little difference of opinion about putting posters or putting banners on people's websites and stuff like that. And I want to know, like, besides like MySpace, where there's 3 different options where you can put these banners on there on like a monthly basis. Even Yahoo does behavioral advertising and stuff like that. Do you guys have you guys seen better results from pay to view or pay to click?
Well, I'll take that. Pay to click in the mobile, always go, go, go. Because right now there's a problem in the market where there's too much inventory and not enough advertisers. So my effective CPM is like 50 cents. If I go out and buy it, it's like $11 or $12. So I'm getting a 30x multiple on CPC, go CPC.
Let me just ask one last question. Some people have a bad internet connection, they get impatient, and if they're clicking their mouse like several times, is that going to affect your pay to click?
If your ad network is a thief, yes. They're supposed to check double clicks in rapid succession and not charge you.
All right.